Do like restream. It's just live. We're live now.
Beautiful.
We are live. Today I have a guest on. Her name is Danielle Lipton, and she is a globally known channel of extraterrestrials known as the Star People.
Thank you for having me. It's an
You're
honor and a blessing to be here.
Thank you for being here. Nobody's on yet,
That's okay.
but we
There's a
can still go.
replays, and
Yep.
I posted it on my channel, so the team will probably log in.
Yep. Well, I have some questions for you.
First, I would like to start by a gentle Om and
Okay.
just by thanking the star people for channeling with us tonight. Thank you, dear star people, for channeling with us tonight, for bringing forward the best information that is most in alignment for all of the individuals watching throughout time and space. And ever so gently, dear ones, we wish for each of you watching to recalibrate your internal circumstances. This is a very particular type of energetic activation each of us shall be facilitating tonight. We are going to start by utilizing an Om. The Om will open and expand your hearts, allowing more of the source frequency to flow through. Deep breath in. Thank you. And we are sending many, many love and blessings, dear ones. Beautiful. Thank you,
Beautiful.
star people.
Thank you, Star People.
Excellent.
Okay. First question is, what is your mission?
So my main soul mission is really to bring knowledge. It is what is called being a light scribe. So that is one of the very first missions that I feel in my heart, is while I am here to be downloading and writing knowledge that is going to help assist all of humanity in some way, shape, or form to evolve. That evolutionary process also, it takes a full energetic casting in my life, because all of the knowledge I have, it radiates out. And this is how all human beings work. But the second that you are holding any piece of information inside of your mind, you are also able to automatically cast that information upwards and outwards, allowing it to change the hearts or the frequencies of all individuals connected to your energy grid, but as well as in your local surrounding area. So that's another thing that I do. Now, I do call myself an activator. I have seen how activating people occurs now, because once you start referring to yourself with the I am an activator. Now I have been trained how to imprint emotion codes. So each of us are doing this automatically. The second we hold a very high frequency of ecstatic bliss, for an example, and then we consciously think of an emotion code and we send it to, like, let's say a crystal or a plant, it will allow for that item or that person, place, or thing to hold the imprint. And then that imprint starts a process of manifestation. So if you call your car beautiful, or you say to your car, I love and I bless you, you may drive that car around town and then have other people stop you and tell you how much they love your car as well. That's because you imprinted it with an emotion code. So that's part of being an activator, because in order to activate, you have to activate something inside of you that allows the light to shine brightly, and it allows other people to activate it inside of them and accept the new emotional coding.
Awesome. When did you experience your awakening?
So my real awakening, I feel like it's been a journey. In Well, when I was younger, I was on a motorcycle, and I had a vision. And this vision was me flipping the bike, and it was like a life ending had happened. And in the blink of an eye, I was like a mile back on the highway with a very loud voice inside my motorcycle helmet telling me, "You're not listening to us." And so that day I went home. I was like, I have to leave. And so I left all the biker boys.
Uh-oh. She'll be back. Hi, Terry. Hi, Gina. Hi, Monique. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Caroline. Oh my gosh. I hope she comes back. Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta love it when that happens. Take a deep breath. Mm. Okay, there she is. Okay, you're back.
My whole thing restarted right mid-sentence. The full moon is coming.
Yep.
So what was the last part you heard up to? The motorcycle?
Yes. They were telling you you dropped all the boys and you went home.
Yes, I went home. Well, the very next day I spoke to the boys, and they had gotten into a cat and mouse chase with the law. So I was an inexperienced rider in that time. And if I was to have stayed with them, I believe I would have ended up flipping the bike over, in a cat and mouse chase. So at that time, it changes the way that you think, because now you become aware, who is us? Because they said, you're not listening to us. So I went home, and right away I asked my mom, I said, was that God? Right? Who's us? And my mom had no answers for me. She's like, I have no idea, but they saved your life. Stay off the bike. Like that happening. So it was amazing. But then I was actually very injured for a very long time in my life. And it was a back injury, sciatica, it spiraled. And then, in 2019, I went through this entire life-changing event where every single thing in my life had just changed very rapidly. Receiving a new car, and then all of a sudden jobs changed, housing situations changed, moving from New York to Pennsylvania, every single thing. The husband who was with me, now he was removed. So everything in my life had changed. In about 2.5 weeks of the beginning of this change, all of my pain had just shut off. And so whereas at the beginning, I couldn't walk more than a house down or 2 houses down, within several weeks, it was like I had no pain. I was doing yoga, I was stretching, I was doing meditations. It was just absolutely amazing. And so within that time, the star people had made it known to me I had to witness it through another person. So I heard my entire life story play out through another channeler. And when I heard it, I was half asleep. I remember removing the headphones, throwing them on the couch, and it was a moment where I was like, what is happening here? Because my entire life story came out of someone else's mouth. Things that nobody else should have known came out of another person's mouth. So my first thought was, the government was watching me. That's what are you going to do? And after that, it was the star people made themselves known, and they were like, you are a channeler for the star people. Is this something that you still want to do in this lifetime? Of course I said yes.
Yes, anybody would.
Yes, please. right? It was absolutely amazing. And I was deep into the metaphysical information back then. I wanted to know there's more than what we've been told about this reality, about this life. Time and space is not what they tell us, and keeping us in a limited perspective of the universe when there is so much out there. And, the curiosity in me just had to know. And then to find out, well, this is your life purpose. Your life purpose is to know this information, to dive into it, and then to channel all of the knowledge that the star people have given us over the upcoming years. Now, fast forward to 2022. So going through all of this darkness, and believe me, I've tapped into my levels, which is, broken body levels, rock bottoms, every single darkness that we can experience on this planet, I've felt in some way, shape, or form, or been experienced too. Most of us have. By just watching the television, we do get experienced these darker emotions. Mm-hmm. But in 2022, I was still very sad inside. And so that really, and I was a channeler at that time. And so I had started my Facebook page. I had started writing the posts and putting out all of the information the star people gave me for free for all of the online people who wanted to read it. Well, in 2022, the star people came down to my room. When they came down, they facilitated, it was like a 4-day attachment removal. And we started at 5 a.m. and we ended at 8 o'clock at night. So we would spend a couple hours, it's like 4 hours. And the attachment removal process was somewhat painful. And then I would saltwater bath, and then I would eat, and then I would go back and lay down into the bed, and 4 more hours, and the process repeated for 4 days. At the end of the 4th day, I felt amazing. I was like, oh my God, everybody needs to feel this, because it was like the most amount of energy I had ever felt in my entire life. And that's when they started training me to remove attachments off of other people. It was, I had to learn the emotion codes of all of the dark experiences in order to be able to feel those attachments and then energetically cast them off of other people as well. And so when we ask a question like, when did the spiritual journey start? It even started before 2019, because they were teaching me all of the metaphysical things I needed to know because my kid got a cavity. And so I look at the journey as it's an entire lifetime. It's we learn, and even some of the things I did in high school, like being a part of the drama club, was setting me up to be on stages in front of people. And, having the other experiences that I've went through. I've had people tell me, oh, you're going to be a writer when you grow up. And I would tell them no. And it was like, they knew before I knew. So, the journey has been the entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Did you want to talk about activating your DNA?
Sure. So any word is and contains an emotion code. So when we speak about activating of the DNA, the power of the human consciousness is so strong. We could take DNA in a sealed glass tubule, and we can imagine the DNA ripping apart, and the DNA will actually rip apart. So then we take it, we put it under a microscope, you can see this. Now you consciously take that DNA in the tubule and you think and imagine it being put back together, and it puts back together. Our DNA works like this because our consciousness controls it. So now we take that into the form of, let's talk about water holding emotions. Now, water makes a sacred geometric snowflake inside of it for each and every emotion code held and cast inwards. Now, in order to rip the DNA, we have to think the thought and send that intention to make the DNA rip. Well, how powerful we are is we combine the two, the thought and the emotions, and we start to go into the DNA genome, and whatever it is, dear ones, that you wish to manifest inside your physical form shall become readily available for expression. There are different extrasensory abilities located in the genome, telepathy being one of them. Each of you is able to control different aspects of the holographic simulation, including levitation, access of time-space control, activating of your true multidimensionality is also readily available. You are able to shift into parallel realities, and this is all controlled by your genome reflection. You have a center light tubule that free flows through the Kundalini channel systems. Each of you reflects this light very differently. This light shall also affect how the genome is physically expressed. We may see this reflection during each of your primary chakra systems. Any densities withheld in any of the primary chakras changes the flow of light through this refractal system. By placing your conscious focus and attention on a particular genome expression, it shall then allow your DNA to start the process of changing. For example, dear ones, you are able to feel into the emotions of your eyes. How would it feel to have green eyes? Allow that feeling to fully wash through you. When that feeling fully washes through you, you may then command your eyes to change. The process must work within the boundaries of time and space. However, when you place your conscious focus and attention on this ability, it shall then manifest for you. Beautiful. Thank you, Star.
Beautiful. There's your train.
There's my train. It's always right on time.
Yeah, it is on at this time. Whenever we're on the shadow work, it comes on.
It is. Sometimes it comes a bunch of times. It'll come by like every 15 minutes it used to in the beginning.
Monique said she wants to manifest green eyes.
Yeah. Do it during meditations. And just imagine and visualize your eyes turning green. And then you may start to notice some of the brown pigment clearing up. Yes.
Scott's in here.
Hi, Scott.
I don't know. I don't think you can see the chat, huh?
I can't see the chat.
He said, "Thank you, Mary Jean. We love Danielle. She's a
I love you guys. I'm so glad you all came."
Oh, who is her channel? It's Danielle Lipton. It's her channel. It used to be the Tree of Life, but she changed it to Danielle Lipton. You can just put that in. It's in the description. I'm pretty sure.
I still have the Tree of Life Organization.com website.
Yeah.
So that one and Danielle Lipton, but they're pretty much linked the same.
Okay. I was wondering if you could speak about connecting with your higher self.
Absolutely.
To help people in my groups, they have a hard time. Some of them have a hard time connecting with their higher self.
Sure. So the higher self is always going to be a representation of your highest potential timeline. Now, what that means is, I want you guys each to close your eyes, dear ones. Imagine and visualize your highest potential. Now times that by 10. That is your highest self's frequency. When you start to utilize a visualization process of seeing your highest potential, it shall then allow you to become in alignment to absorb the higher self into your biological field. Your heart chakra must go through a process of cleansing, releasing any densities, any darkness from the heart chakra is going to allow the higher self to come down the Kundalini channel system and take its place inside of the heart. In order to feel this, you may start to feel unconditional love inside your heart for all experiences, all people, places, and things. When you start to open your heart to this unconditional love, dear ones, the higher self will automatically start to place eyes upon you. There is an energetic process that happens in the grids in which a counter rotation begins to form. This process comes when deep shadow work is done. You may feel this energy flow when your eyes are closed. You may also feel a light pressure on the chest when activating unity consciousness frequencies or unconditional love. The more you visualize your highest potential, and the more you set your eyes on being that person, it is okay to copycat what that person looks like. For in enough time, you shall step into a parallel reality in which you become that individual. It is as simple as that, dear ones. You may believe that you are the higher self, and you may then witness the higher self fully take its seat inside of your hearts and express outwards. We also wish to speak about a two-way communication with the higher self, for this is a process during a meditation. And when we say the word meditation, we mean just sit and close your eyes. It is okay for each of you to do this now. Take a deep breath in and gently release. Allow your body to feel calm. Allow peace to wash over you. Feel a bright white light fully surrounding your body. Allow your hearts to open and expand. Thank you, dear higher selves, for giving us an emotion or a thought. Thank you for allowing us to see or perceive an aspect of you. And now, dear ones, just place attention on what you feel. What thoughts came in? Many of you may have felt love. The higher self loves each of us unconditionally. And now, inside your hearts and your minds, I wish for each of you to send your higher selves a hug, allowing yourself to tell the higher self how much you love and appreciate him or her. You may simply say thank you. Yeah. How did that feel?
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
Exactly what I felt.
Yes. It felt very blissful, like peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Caroline, you have her on Facebook? Yeah, me too.
Thanks, guys.
I've been trying to get Caroline to go to your shadow work.
You can come. The shadow work is free.
I think she went last week.
Yeah. You might as well. I mean, we feel better doing it. We focus on energy clearings. There's a whole ton of stuff that we do, and it's always like random. Yeah. I think, what was it? We have a very particular thing we're doing on Tuesday. We're going to be doing a group energetic clearing on the entire group that follows all of my pages. So if your name is here right now and you would like to be included, just in your mind say, thank you, Star People, for including me in tonight's energetic clearing. You don't even have to speak the words. They can hear each and every one of us. And actually, there's a whole process because I am a quantum channeler. So what that means is, and this is the way humans work as general, we all have thoughts that come into the mind. The way I see them is like this. The right-hand side, the thought stream comes in. It's one singular thought stream that goes up and down like a frequency wave. On the left-hand side, there's 5 memories that pull forward, and then it meets the thought stream at the 0 point, which is in the center, but it goes to the heart too. Now, what that is it takes 5 memories, and then it pulls in the thoughts in the now moment. So whatever it is that you're talking about, we know it gets filtered through the memory grid complex. That's a fact. Your memories affect who you are in the now moment. To identify that there is 5 primary memories affecting the way this thought stream works, that grants us access into starting to feel into these strings. Now, they've been telling us for a while about a string worker ability, which is the ability to change or manifest different energy strings, which then puts us in a form of magnetic alignment with whatever it is we're trying to manifest. This is part of the string worker system, is the memories and the thought stream that comes in. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you want to talk about the mind block ring? And
Sure. The mental ring block. So many times, and I do know, I recognize earlier on in my journey, learning about attachments is a big thing, because I got to such a point where you can hear these things and we're just unaware of what they sound like. They sound like our voice in our mind when we are having negative thoughts. And a lot of times you'll try and like silence those negative thoughts and they won't silence. And you're like, I must just be angry, release. And so that's just the way it goes. So funny, sorry. I just released an attachment on the video. Okay, rebalance. Well, the attachments get you like that. And we, from a human perspective, we just go through our day and we're like, oh, you must just be angry. Well, that's not necessarily true. They're attachments. They're energetic beings who are real in their physicality. We just can't see them with our human eyes unless we unlock the genome, which allows us to see into their frequency bandwidth. Now, when we go through and we do an attachment clearing, you can feel these different, they call them, the star people call them messengers. We can feel them lift off of our body. So if you have one that is choking the life out of you and you gently, discharge that one off of your field, then all of a sudden you may feel as if hands were lifted off of your neck. I've had experiences that, we won't speak about on a public forum, but I've had experiences with these types of attachments. I've seen them on people, not like seeing, well, I guess it is like seeing. When I close my eyes, I get visuals of what they look like. I've seen them speak through people. Sometimes they can change the way the face looks. So, like angry old guy, right? He changes the way the facial features actually look because someone holds that emotion, and it starts out as you hold the emotion for a little bit of time, but then you turn into that angry old guy, and it changes the way the entire face structure works. They can change our bodies. They change the weight that we hold. They change the way that we walk. They manifest hair loss or brittle fingernails, or, it's like every single experience that you can potentially have in a human body, there's an attachment that's holding that emotion code that latches onto you. So the first thing we do is we have a look at the body. How is your body handling yourself right now in the moment? Are you healthy? Are you happy? How does the wrinkles look? Every single line is a reflection of an emotion code that you are holding in the now moment. So we dive into all these different areas, and then we start to release all the attachments. Now, the second that we release the attachments, it's like there's so much more light that pulls through the system that we feel a whole lot better almost immediately. It's beautiful. And so to know and to recognize the way that this entire system works, it's like, well, wow. But it gets even better because these are only messengers. And so attachments we know as the dark messengers. They're the low frequency emotions. But the second that we clear those out of the field, now we can start to call in the high frequency emotions. So one that I call in from time to time is I am strong. And what happens is we have this nervous system net that runs underneath the skin. And when we call in any emotion as well as hold any crystal, the crystal or the emotion code, it flexes the nervous system net differently. So, for example, if you are imprinted with a you are weak attachment and emotion code, you can call forward, I am strong. Now, the more you can hold the frequency or the emotion of I am strong, that nervous system net holds, and then all of a sudden it maintains so that you don't have to focus on it anymore because you become that person. The more we start to touch into this nervous system net, it changes everything because all of the manifestations get run through the emotion grid. The thoughts and the emotions together make up the nervous system net because there is a degree of magnetics in order to imprint this nervous system net, which is electrical in its nature, dear ones. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah.
Did you want to talk about anything else?
Does anybody have any questions in the box?
Yes,
I figured out how to read the comments now. I had to click on the comments.
Oh, okay. So you can see them.
Now I can see you guys.
Anybody have any questions for Danielle?
Yes. Any questions? So Russ says he's 7 miles from Buffalo, New York, and 20 miles from Niagara Falls. Very good. We are hosting a New Hampshire retreat coming up September 30th to October 4th. So if you guys are in the area of New Hampshire, I forgot the place. What is it? Hillsborough it is. Feel free to drop a line. We're doing day passes too. It's amazing.
My friend Terry said this is awesome. She just got your book because I told her she needs to get it. She just ordered it, got it today.
Thank you for getting it. Thank you so much. It's an activator book. And I've had people who are not spiritually focused whatsoever. And the book seems to draw them in. And then all of a sudden they pick it up, they read it, and then they can't put it down. Now, the star people, they're so grateful, but they have encoded the entire book with these different light codes and frequencies that even if you didn't read a page in the book, even if you just had the book in your room, let's say you put it under your pillow, which we did in the beginning when it first came out, believe me, a bunch of my people were like, let's put it under the pillow and see what happens, right? And it's like the way the activation process works is like this. We have the book. You don't even have to read it. It's frequency encoded. The only thing you have to do is hold it up to your heart and say, thank you for absorbing all the frequencies in the book. Or put it under your pillow and say, thank you for absorbing all the knowledge into my body, mind, and spirit complex. Or whichever way you guys choose to say it is fine too. What's going to happen is the energetic frequency that comes off of the book, it acts just like the crystal. So being in the frequency range of that knowledge, it automatically starts to affect the waking world as you live in. So the things that you see happening from your day-to-day life and reality are going to change or shift just because you have this type of knowledge in your possession. That's how this process works. Now, the book is written where you can open to any page and just read the page. You don't have to read the entire thing cover to cover. Some things you may want to read, like I put all the attachments together in one section so you can read, the whole group of pages at once. But for the most part, it makes it very easy for people to digest in tiny doses, which is a blessing.
I usually take the book and I go like this and I say, what do you want me to learn today?
That's what we all do. We're like, but now My newest thing is I paid for Speechify for 1 year. And Speechify takes my PDF and I can put the PDF in Speechify and it reads it to me. And so now I sat there and I had the cell phone as I'm cooking, reading my Ascension Guide to me. And it was like just listening to all the words coming in. It allowed me to start forming new questions. And that's how the book was written. It was written by, well, I had real things in my life going on and I had questions. And I'm grateful. My Starman was right there to answer every single question I had. Oh, you had this problem? Wham, here's a download. This is the reason why you're having that problem. Or not even a problem. This is why you're seeing that. And I was like, oh, that's the most important information and everyone in the world needs to know it. And so then I would write it down. And the second it was done being written or texted in my phone, I would send it right to Facebook. And in turn, I've noticed that some of the people who have been with me since the beginning, our language has like evolved. And now all of a sudden it's like I could talk to some of the online viewers and they're like, yeah, they understand every single word because they've been with me as we all were taught this. It's a high frequency knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
I think they had a few questions in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, wait, I went too far down. Okay, Caroline says, so to remove an attachment, you just have to change the thought?
Well, the first thing I would do, the attachment has a name. Each attachment, the name is the emotion code. So for example, if you as a conscious vessel are feeling any lower frequency emotion, so say sadness, depression, anxiety, all these low frequency things, but it's also stubbing my toe, paper cut, bad breath. These are low frequency emotion codes. These are attachment names. Now, for each attachment name, you speak the word release. And that releases the attachment. It's not only from you, but it's all the people around you. And so, this is a funny story. I just went and took a month-long vacation, if we want to call it that, with a close family member. And they were going through darkness. And I had made it known, if you're going to step into my space, my room, and talk all this darkness, you have to at least say the word release to release the attachments after you're done, listening to all this darkness. And so that person came in the room and was like, blah, 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 blah. He bought a lemon, release. And the second she said release, that attachment released in the form of a burp out of me, out of nowhere. And both of us, like, our eyes opened up and we were like, oh my goodness. And so, but it's started to shape the way we speak to one another. So, which is why when we were on this video earlier and I spoke an attachment name, my first word was release. We're not supposed to release them on video though, because the energy gets ingrained into the video. So that's why the star people were like, just gently reminding me, don't release attachments on videos. But yes, absolutely. Caroline says, when I say back pain, release, it should go away. That's part of the process. So we have to then unpack the emotions. Now, releasing the attachment, it's like, if you can just imagine that there's well, I guess you can use that analogy. You know how they say you have a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other? Just imagine that you have a dark messenger and it's pushing that back pain into you. And if you release it, now that entity is gone, but now you still are responsible to heal the physical body. So in order to heal the physical body, I can only tell you guys what I personally have done. And that was, it was a natural process. It wasn't anything hard. I started walking. The first day I couldn't make it down past one house, but I kept going because the people around me were encouraging me. And, I started, it was like eating healthy, morning meditations, a change in my environment. If any people, places, or things were toxic, they were removed from my life so that the people around me, we were only laughing all day long. No one was yelling or screaming, or there was none of that. And in time, I was able to quit a ton of things. So like alcohol was one of the first things to go. The pain medicine I was on was gone. Alcohol, we went through cigarettes. I went through nicotine patches that you suck on when I was trying to quit the cigarettes. Like I had to quit that then. Kratom, I had to, I released that. So I've released so many different things. And it's been literally a journey. But the back pain itself, within 2.5 weeks of making the primary changes, and anything that's not bringing you joy and happiness, release it. It doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter the value. And I promise you that, because I've given away very high value items that I had that I was holding on to for 20 something years just because it was expensive. That's the silliest thing to do to yourself, because it's generating an energetic cord between you and that item. And if that item is not bringing you joy and happiness, then it's depleting your energy. So at that point, release it to the universe. Let someone else have a go with it. It does not matter how much it costs. The more you give from your heart, the more blessings will come your way anyway. But you have to give from your heart because you love people, or because you want to share, you want to do good things. Yeah. And then the back pain will, in time, heal. Yeah. I would also dive into emotion codes that are stored, or imprints. The star people are calling them, they're correcting me. The imprints also need to be healed. So we take the body and we take a look at the actual back. What part of the back is injured? Many times, if it's the lower back, it's from not feeling supported. If you don't feel supported, you close your eyes, and this is where the higher self comes in. The higher self works with you and communicates with you, even if you are unaware that you are being communicated with. Thank you, higher self, for giving me a memory of a time in which I was imprinted in this body location. It could be the shoulder, the back, wherever it is. Close your eyes. You'll get a memory, or you'll have a thought come in. That thought will be an emotion. Oh, I didn't feel good here. Release. Or, you have a memory, and now you write down the memory on a piece of paper. How did that memory make you feel? Go through every single emotion and release them. Then we neutralize them. The process of neutralizing the emotions is how we release the imprint from the physical form. So releasing it, we usually tell people, we take the left hand, we put it over the heart, the right hand over the belly button. Now your heart pushes energy out, your left hand receives. Your right hand pushes energy out, we push it into the belly button, that's where it pulls the light inwards. And then we go, I forgive myself for the emotion code. Whatever emotion you're experiencing, release, because it releases the attachment. Now you are changing the imprint. You may have to go in and do this process several times. Now, different muscle testing will also tell you if that emotional imprint has been fully released. Or you can just ask the higher self, how does that area feel now? Is there any pain? Yes, if there's pain, go back in. Thank you, higher self, for gifting me another emotion code. There might be a secondary emotion code. Many times our memories contain so many different emotions to one memory you are able to hold and store an imprint in any body location. So if you still have pain, go back in. Now, I've done this process, and I literally have seen people have headaches, and then the headache disappears. People had pain, the pain disappears. And that's just by going in and changing the emotion code. Now, finally, if you cannot get the emotion code to change that way, you can go in and energetically cast a new emotion code into the location. So if it's in your shoulder, for example, you pull at the emotion. Okay, how did it make you feel? What's the memory inside? Release all the attachments. Love and bless. I forgive myself. You go through that whole process. If there's still a little bit of tension and tightness, you put your awareness into that location, and now imagine and visualize unconditional love. And imagine sending the unconditional love to that body location. Keep doing that, because if you do just those things, what we're actually doing is we are changing the nervous system net, which changes our manifestation of the physical body as well as the external. And the external is your location and your civilization ring. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. This was one of my questions that I was going to ask you. Lynn wants to know, what is your plans after Ascension? Lynn, I told her that you wanted me to ask her that.
I mean, I do like to stay in the now moment, but I have a star man, and he is my current husband in this reality, in this lifetime. I absolutely love, cherish, and adore him to pieces. Now, there is a process of two becoming one. Two becoming one is each person, we're able to call forward a perception box. A perception box is, let's say, for example, everything that you see in your reality is a box. Just imagine that. You and I, we're both in two different boxes on the computer. That we can consider that a perception box, right? And the way his perception is right now is he has me in a little box 24/7. So he's always able to see into my body, into my reality. Every single thought, feeling, emotion is bam. It's right there in his primary awareness. In time, my awareness is going to show me his perception box. And this is where two becomes one. That type of, and it has to be an unconditional love-based, for the most part, without trying to be perfect. You have to have love for the other person. And that love allows this type of energetic bonding to fully come into your reality. Whereas it breaks down all the walls. There's no secrets. There's zero secrets between us. He can see everything. He could see my entire memory. He could see every single emotion I've ever triggered in the past, in the now moment. He could see into the future. He knows what I'm going to do before I'm going to do it. It's a really interesting relationship. So, but it's perfect. And it's just blissful. And in my future, without making plans, and I mean, I know I'm going to end up having kids, like more kids with him, children, I should say, and two becomes one. So having a very deep spiritual intimacy that is something beyond anything I've ever known in my awareness on this planet. Yeah.
I want a star man.
Nice.
I do. Maybe I have one out there. Who knows? I'm just not.
Maybe you'll turn into a star person.
Yes.
Because the star people consider us star people as well, because we're on a planet and that looks like a star to them.
Yep. I see them in the clouds, the star people, every day of my life. Russ has a question. Danielle, I have much trouble focusing when meditating. I was never successful at it. I heard magic mushrooms help and is healthy in small amounts.
So I cannot comment. No, I erase that. Release. I choose not to comment on psychedelics because I do not actively participate as a shaman giving people advice on products that I have never used. And the psychedelics, for me personally, I've had an experience when I was in high school of, smoking marijuana for the first time. And then the effects lasted for about 6 months with me, to the point where I had to ask my mom to take me to the doctor. It was so embarrassing. I mean, how does this happen to people? It happened to me. And the doctor was like, "You're fine." I was like, "I certainly am not fine." Right. And then all the emotions that go along with that. Am I going to stay like this forever? What is happening? But I got to see into the timeline shifts during that process, because everything looked like it had a flicker rate. And that's what I was actually seeing, was the flicker rate of the simulation. So from that experience, in my mind, I already knew that I had a super pineal gland. That's what I called it when I was 20. It was like, well, this isn't for me because I'm very sensitive to psychedelics. And that was only for marijuana. So it's not for me. So, but I have watched YouTube videos and I have heard from other people who do claim psychedelics help them. There is a degree of, honor, because these are plants and these are spirits, and that is something I'm fully aware of. Now, even ayahuasca, when you start to engage, it is a spirit of Mother Nature that you are technically evoking into your body when you ingest. Now, this goes along with all of the food that we eat as well. So just think about that for 1 second. And we break it down. It's like, well, if we're eating a plant, for an example, we should be giving thanks, first off, and blessing of this plant. And thank you for energetically bonding with me. Because if you could take a tiny little tea and that tea takes you and puts you directly into the spirit realm where you're able to communicate with your ancestors, that's only a tea. What happens if you're eating an entire plate of food, right? What information is that food giving us that we may just be unaware of? So it changes the whole concept of ingesting any item. Now, think about, Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, she took a tiny bit of food and it changed her physical body. This is going to become a reality in our lifetimes. It's already here. There's different genetic modifications to the human body that can be done. And actually, I believe it's in the book, Mary Jane, where they were talking about different plants being able to be genetically modified in order to heal diseases. So, for example, the plant life, this is what the star people are saying right now, you can genetically modify the pheromones inside of the plant to be extra attractive to the specific individual who has the diseased distortion. That individual, for example, maybe they are someone suffering from anorexia. You may then genetically modify any plant to be more enticing for that individual, as well as different genetic modifications to the plant, which is able to heal different emotional codings contained within their imprinted systems. This then allows for higher levels of awareness to be fully embodied by such individual. Yes. Thank you, Star.
Thank you, Star People.
Yes.
Oh. Stacy said, Star Man.
That's my Star Man. Yeah.
I think everybody, I don't think they have any more questions. Did I miss any more questions on here?
Let me see. I have to scroll up.
Yeah, I can't handle mushrooms either. I did them before and I thought I was dying.
Release. Yeah. Now, supposedly, I actually have heard through a friend who, now I don't remember I don't remember. There was a very specific type of plant-based modality that she engaged with. And she said the same exact thing. She was fearful that she was like, oh, you're going to die, right? But that's a fear. Now, there's an aspect, and this is what the star people are saying right now in this second, which makes sense. We have a dark matter Merkaba field, right? So the way the soul comes down into the 3D reality is like this. It comes down, it activates the dark matter Merkaba field. That dark matter Merkaba field we can't see with the naked eye. It's made of dark matter. That dark matter Merkaba field contains all of the dark emotion codes. So the second that dark matter Merkaba field is formed in the ether, say, but it's here, it's surrounding a real body in this reality. Now, all of a sudden, during the moment of conception, a light gets formed. We know that light is birth in darkness. So that dark matter Merkaba field is on the outer form of your energy grids, which are light. That dark matter Merkaba field is there to push the veil system so that you have to experience all of that fear. But what happens when you burst through that field is what my friend said. She said, I had to push through the fear veil. And once I was on the other side, I was connected with the source, and I was all unconditional love with all the beings there. That's the dark matter Merkaba field. I have to write that down.
Yeah, write it down.
Right. Somebody write it down and send it to me.
Well, it'll be on the video. It'll be on the video.
We have to, yes, we have to expand upon that because that's very interesting. Now we know all life is birthed in darkness. So you are a spark of light in your mother's womb that's in darkness. Your brain waves are electrical in their nature. They are light encased in darkness. This is how the soul works as well. Everything is a micro reflection of the macro. So when we see it on the body form, it reflects out into both the location as well as the civilization rings. It's genius the way the system works.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we are all connected to a group consciousness.
Yes.
One group consciousness. I've been reading the Pleiadian book. What's it called? I can't think of it right now. I don't know why my brain just shut off.
It's a quantum field.
I hate when it happens. The Pleiadian Promise. The Pleiadian Promise.
Okay.
By Christine Day. I've been reading it, and it's an awesome book as well.
Nice.
It is.
Beautiful.
Everybody should read that book as well.
Yeah. Or listen. I put my book on repeat. And I know it sounds crazy, but I listen all day. So for the most part, without trying to be perfect, but like I put it on, I listen, and it spawns new ideas. And then new ideas turn into new posts and new downloads. And then, now I'm listening to the second book. And the second book, it came even faster than the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I see you put it out there on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still trying. Do you have already?
Oh, what?
How many pages do you have already? The whole
109 already. That's what I mean. It came fast, but that's because where you put your conscious focus and attention on expands. And so just the process of putting on the book and just listening in the background, it's prompting new ideas, new thoughts. And then new thoughts turn into, well, why does it work like this? And then all of a sudden a download comes in and then a new post is there. That's a new page. And then I've been doing the almost 4-mile walk. So I'm able to clickety clack on my phone as I'm getting the walk done and write out the posts. And it's just beautiful. And it's beautiful to know, right? And to have an explanation that makes sense. Like, oh, this is how the physical reality works. This makes sense. It's logical. It fits. And when you start to put it into practice, so you just comprehend it, it's like, wow, what else are we truly capable of expressing in this lifetime? Because I'm telling you, magic is real. By any other word, we can call it quantum physics. We can call it manifestation. You can call it, intuition, telepathy. In my book, it's magic. It's all the same exact thing. It's science that's understood. And now physics and all this stuff is proving it's real. It's 100% real. Well, the second that you start telling yourself that, breakfast, lunch, and dinner over and over and over again, magic is real, right? Here's the science. The science proves it. This is what I've experienced. What I've experienced comes right into alignment with it. And now I see it. And the second that you see it, you cannot unring a bell. The second that you see it, that's the level I'm at. I know it's real. I see it. I see it reflected into my sessions, the people. There are some people watching this tonight, and it was like, you told me this, a year ago? And you were like, I have no more information about that topic. And then all of a sudden, here it is a year later, and it's like, bam, here's all the information. It's amazing. How would that even happen?
I know, like whenever I first started reading this book, I used to ask the universe to help me understand it. And I started understanding it.
Yeah.
That's why it's magic. That's why I suggest everybody go get this book.
Thank you.
It's in the description.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you can tell them how they can contact you. I guess we're going to end the show because it's been an hour.
Perfect. So you guys can send a message in to daniellelipton.com. I do offer sessions. I'm hosting a retreat. It's actually coming up, so September 30th for Monday through Friday. So it's going to be until October 4th. Yeah, beautiful. I do the Tuesday night shadow work Zooms is always 100% free. So we come together as a tribe to form unity consciousness, because when one person heals, we tend to reflect a brighter frequency that tends to heal those people around us. So it's just a beautiful way of giving back to the community. And we come together, we do different energetic clearings. We can even talk about the book. So if you guys have, you can get the PDF version or the actual books on Amazon. And then any questions that you guys have, you can always come to me and ask. On my Facebook profiles, I post all of the new downloads. For the most part, there's a lot coming in, but I've been taking them, turning them into short videos, and as well as posting the actual written content up. This way, the information is for the people. Yes. It's beautiful.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate you for watching my video. Thank you for everybody watching the replay. I appreciate it so much. And thank you, Danielle, for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's a blessing and an honor for all of us to be here tonight.
And I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, I know. We just want to say thank you, dear star people, for channeling the best information for all of the people watching. Thank you for always showing up for us. And thank you for gifting us this beautiful ascension knowledge. And thank you from my heart to yours for helping all of humanity in their evolutionary process. Thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.